Hey everyone, hope you're having a great holiday, whatever you celebrate. This is going to be my last video for the year, so I thought I would try to do something New Year's themed. So for this video, I'm going to look back at some of the best geeky things that came out of 2016. Now, just a disclaimer, these are my personal favorites. These are the franchises and things that I'm into, so if something happened to you or in your world that was super big and super important and you really enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below. But anyway, let's get started. Okay, so number 5, my best parts of the year. Captain America Civil War. So for those of you who just started looking at my channel, the Captain America Civil War review is actually one of the first videos I did. So you can go check that out and see my full opinion, but I thought it was a really good Marvel movie. It introduced characters like Spider-Man and Black Panther. It took a lot of the Avengers characters and gave us a different sort of story that we just hadn't seen yet in the MCU. And I think up until this point, people were kind of feeling like they're a little tired of Marvel movies. They kind of felt like Marvel needed to do some different stuff to get people interested. But this movie, I think, renewed a lot of people's interest in the MCU. I mean, after what they did with Civil War, I don't see Marvel movies stopping for quite a long time. You know, at least the next 2-3 years. So again, really enjoyed this movie. It was really awesome. I mean, you can just look at the explosion of just like memes and all the stuff that came out of that movie. Everything from, you know, the December 16th joke to people wanting Captain America and Bucky to date. I mean, people just really enjoyed this movie, and so did I. Number 4 is going to be the Future Trunks / Black Goku saga of Dragon Ball Super. I mentioned Dragon Ball Super in a previous video I did. I haven't done a full-length review, and I may sort of wrap around back to Dragon Ball later, but what I really enjoyed about this season of Dragon Ball Super is that we got the return of fan-favorite Future Trunks, we got an evil version of Goku, we got even a decent kind of love story, which you don't see a lot in Dragon Ball. We got the return of characters like Vegeta with a fusion of Goku and Vegeta. You know, this last season of Dragon Ball Super really brought back a lot of elements from the many different sagas of Dragon Ball Z that people liked. And I think that this is the saga that kind of put Dragon Ball Super back on the map and really got people interested in Dragon Ball Z, because we got some good fights, we got a decent mystery, a decent story, we got to look back at a lot of people's favorite characters, and it was just a really fun season. So if you haven't checked out Dragon Ball Super, please do, and I will probably do a review of it at some point. I just don't know when, but yeah, Dragon Ball Super, one of my favorite animes of the year. Number 3 is going to have to be Pokemon. Now this is kind of cheating because I'm going to put both Pokemon Go and Pokemon Moon on here. So for those of you who don't know, Pokemon Go, one of the most, if not the most downloaded apps in history. It's an app that you take your phone, you go out and catch Pokemon. And the reason I'm putting this on the list is because, not because I think that Pokemon Go is that amazing of a game, but it kind of brought back people's interest, I think, in the Pokemon franchise, because a lot of people, at least my age, maybe they grew up playing the games or they watched a lot of the cartoons, but then, you know, they outgrew it. There have been Pokemon games the past 15, 20 years, I would say, and I think what Pokemon did is that it reminded people that Pokemon is still a thing. A lot of people who grew up playing Pokemon ended up getting the Pokemon Go app, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember Pokemon, it used to be fun, because I think a lot of people, they didn't stop liking Pokemon, they just kind of forgot about it. So, you know, Pokemon Go renewed interest in the franchise, and that leads into Pokemon Moon, which is the newest Pokemon game for the Nintendo 3DS. That Pokemon Moon, I believe, broke records for being the most, like, bought Pokemon game ever. And, you know, I think part of that is because of Pokemon Go. And Pokemon Moon, I recently got it, I made a funny video about it. It's a fun game, it's a really good Pokemon game in its own right. And Pokemon Moon itself changed up a lot of gameplay mechanics that kind of made the Pokemon game feel stale. So it kind of feels like a different game, but by keeping some familiar Pokemon elements so it's not too different. So yeah, Pokemon Go brought people into the franchise, and I think Pokemon Moon really improved on the Pokemon system. So they're both going to be my number 3 on this list. Number 2 is going to be Luke Cage. Now, I've made enough videos talking about Luke Cage for you to know my opinion on it. All I'm gonna say is, dude, bulletproof black superhero. It was definitely one of the most different things that we've ever seen from Marvel. It was really ambitious, and I just really enjoyed that show. Is it perfect? No. Is everyone gonna like it? No. Is it even really for everybody? No. But I'm so proud of Marvel that they were able to make a show that revolved around black culture and doing it in a really meaningful way. Because they easily could have made Luke Cage like a jive-talking, you know, stereotype, and it could have been very meh. It could have been whitewashed, you know, but they really stuck to the roots of the comic. I think they really came out with a decent show. I mean, it's already renewed for season 2. I believe it broke Netflix the weekend it came out. So yeah, Luke Cage definitely deserves the second spot on my list. Before I get to my number 1, I'm just going to show you my honorable mentions. These things didn't make the list, but I really enjoyed them too this year. Daredevil Season 2, the Arrowverse crossover, Naruto and Sasuke's final fight within the Naruto anime, Bayonetta being playable in Super Smash Bros. Alright, and with that, we're going to move on to number 1. And number 1 is going to be something I haven't actually talked about on this channel. This is going to be my favorite. This is actually my favorite video game of the year, and that is Fire Emblem Fates. Pretty much in Fire Emblem, you play as a prince or princess, and you pretty much lead an army to go up against either another kingdom / like demonic creatures. And you can ask any of my friends in college what game I was playing, probably like January through like April, and it was Fire Emblem. You know, I thought the gameplay was amazing. I fell in love with the characters. You can pair up characters and get characters to date, and the characters will have a kid, and then the kid will have powers from the mother and the father. You can have characters team up and do different battle combinations. You can give characters different weapons and teach them spells and whatnot. Like, Fire Emblem Fates is by far my favorite game of the year. When I got it, I played it for months on end until I pretty much burnt out. I thought the story was really interesting and fun. The music was great. The characters were lovable and enjoyable. And it was just a fantastic game. So Fire Emblem Fates deserves its spot as my number 1 favorite geeky thing about 2016. So yeah, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. And thank you all for following my stuff throughout this year. It's been interesting trying to start like a YouTube thing. This has kind of been an interesting year for me because I finished college this year, been looking for a full-time job, and it's been kind of an interesting transition period. And YouTube's kind of provided a way for me to express a lot of my interests that I couldn't necessarily do like in a job setting right now, so I appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who's been watching my stuff throughout the year. Again, happy holidays, and hopefully 2017 is much better than 2016 in many respects, and hopefully we continue to get more nerdy and geeky content. But until then, my name's Chris, that guy CD, and I will catch you all later. Peace. Also, please let me know what were your favorite geeky things about 2016. So anything from TV to comic books to shows to anime, just whatever was awesome to you about 2016, leave it in the comments. I want to hear back from you, and maybe I can learn from you guys and get into some new stuff.